Welcome to episode 2 of me bitching about my math class. I'm sure every single one of you out there has seen my hit classic, I Hate Discussion Boards. This is essentially a sequel to that. For context, I fucking suck at math, and I need every bit of help I can get. Unfortunately for me, my school is entirely online for the year, which means I am entirely shit out of luck. With the adoption of online courses, my math class has also adopted loads of access baggage. Things like discussion boards and, get this, group projects. Things that really serve nothing but wasting time. I already complained about discussion boards in one video, so now it is group projects' turn. First, let me tell you the basics of the project, so you have a better understanding of how I managed to botch this whole thing. I'll try to explain this like I'm explaining it to a 5-year-old. So, hypothetically, you live in one city, and you want to move to a different city. All you have to do for the project is to calculate the cost of living difference between the city you currently live in and the city you want to live in. Simple as that. And then you take the math you just did and you put it in a mock email that you send to a fake boss, basically saying, hey, I'm quitting, I found a place that's cheaper to live, and I'm blowing Dodge. All around pretty straightforward, but here's why it grinds the Christ out of my gears. To submit this assignment, you need feedback from at least 5 classmates, most of which don't respond until the last fraction of a millisecond before it's due. Which basically means, if I want to relax on a Wednesday night and play some Call of Duty with my boys, I can't, because I'm waiting on What's-His-Nuts to respond to my rough draft. Yeah, it pissed me off, but that is just school. School pisses me off all the time, it's nothing new. So I decided to just roll with it, and not only did I roll with it, I actually managed to have fun writing my email. My first rough draft went a little something like this. How's it going? I hope these hard times aren't smelling what you're stepping in. I appreciate the opportunity to relocate. The perpetual stench of horse and farmland has really done a number on my mental state. I'm excited to live out the remainder of my days in Paris, Texas, where I'll be able to live out a comfortable lifestyle with a slight reduction of price. The main reason I wanted to move here was because I always wanted to see the Eiffel Tower and I love looking at mimes. I also considered moving to Middlesex, Monmouth, New Jersey, simply for its silly little name, but unfortunately, it is too expensive. I wrote this with hopes that my group mates would hopefully get a chuckle and be eager to read my final draft. But no, in fact, quite the opposite happened. They all basically said this is kinda dumb, and if you want a good grade, you should change it. So I said, yeah, I'll change it, but fuck a good grade. The final email I submitted went like this. How are you? I hope you're doing well in these trying times. I appreciate the opportunity to relocate. The perpetual stench of horse and farmland has really done a number on my mental state. I'm excited to live out the remainder of my days in Paris, Texas, where I'll be able to live out a comfortable lifestyle with a slight reduction of price. The main reason I wanted to move here was so I could escape another mind-numbing group project during a global pandemic. How long can one man endure the weight of a response from a group member they can't get a hold of, only for them to finally reply hours before it's due? Only time will tell. In Paris, Texas, people are still dying. But if I move there and leave my laptop in East Lansing, my brain will eventually siphon out the remnants of thought relating to the stupid little math project that somehow manages to make every week a little more stressful. Lord bear me strength. I also considered Middlesex, Monmouth, New Jersey simply for its vibrant culture, but unfortunately, it is too expensive. And I submitted that with no feedback or nothing. And once you submit an assignment, there is no going back. And probably not even 10 minutes after I submitted this, I felt like the biggest asshole. I regretted damn near every line in that paragraph, and there was nothing I could do about it. And for a while, it did not sit right with me. That was until Phase 3, the final project, Redemption. The final project was to simply write a 400-word review of the class. I knew right away that this is where I was going to redeem myself for that rude-ass email I sent. So I wrote them a paper they will never forget. I'd be lying if I said this semester hadn't beat the brakes off me, but overall, I consider it to be a valuable experience. To come out of this course with a high B is something I figured I'd have to bargain with God. After being lost cycled through the stages of grief chronically for weeks, I am proud to say I've caught a glimpse of a light at the end of the tunnel. A pretty bright light, if you will. Math is a concept. A pretty important one, I might add. In fact, I would go as far as to say that math is a universal language, co-sided by violence. Our planet is filled with a wider variety of ethnicities and cultures than some could even fathom, and for the most part, we all have very little understanding of each other. But what's one thing that we all understand? That 2 plus 2 always equals 4. Americans, Australians, Floridians, deer, British people, we are also vastly different, yet we are able to understand each other through math problems. It is quite beautiful, actually. I recognized many lessons from class and everyday life. I even took the initiative to follow up with these concepts to make sure they weren't patched in any of the latest updates. During the second project, while calculating the cost of living difference between Paris, Texas and Middlesex, Monmouth, New Jersey, I noticed I was adding and subtracting numbers quite a bit, something that felt pretty familiar. This concept bounced around in my head for days until I couldn't take it anymore. I got in my car and hauled to the nearest grocery store and ran to the produce section as fast as I could. I found myself standing over the lemons, breathing heavily. I firmly grasped one in my right hand. After mentally processing that I had one lemon, I firmly grasped another lemon with my left hand. I now had 2 lemons. I was in disbelief. This is the moment of realization that led me to appreciate math and how useful it is in everyday life. This class has left me with many new ideas that I plan to learn more about. For example, martial arts. I would do this specifically for stress management. During the cost of living project, I decided to also calculate the cost of karate lessons into my budget, and it turns out that it's affordable if I were to move to Paris, Texas. This way I can properly align my chakras and find my inner zen. This will help me further prevent my brain from going haywire at the sight of a story problem. Maybe then I could be an exceptional math student. In conclusion, math metaphorically tends to kick my teeth in. Although I was consistently whining about the use of discussion boards and group projects, I found this class rather easy to follow and quite beneficial. I am thankful that my final math course was based on concepts that are useful in everyday life. P.S. Sorry for that lame email I sent as a final draft. I had a canker sore on my cheek and it was ruining my day. You're likely wondering what the hell kind of grade I could have got, and for a while I wondered that too, because I was too scared to look. But to my disbelief, I somehow ended up with a 94% on my final project and an 87% on my final email. How the fuck?